Hello and what is going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing well and are excited for double XP. A few of you guys have asked me to make a video on double XP, and while I didn't really want to because I feel like everyone and their nan has a double XP video, I thought I could give you guys some useful pointers when it comes to the following week. First things first, for those of you unaware, you are able to gain 48 hours of double XP, which you can use over the course of 20 days. A lot of people dislike this because it takes away the fun factor from the weekend, but in my honest opinion, this is really good for the game. I know a lot of people dislike it. The fun part for the game for me personally is towards the end, and it's not the early grind. And any boost to speed up the boring grinds in the beginning is a win in my books. Destiny do this great. For any of you that follow Destiny 2, they basically allow it so that with each DLC, they allow newer players to start at a higher light level. This way they don't have to do all of the boring grinds and they can get to the fun content faster. And I feel like frequent double XP events where you don't need to lose sleep to partake of Runescape's way of helping newer players get to the end game quicker, and I don't personally see a problem with that. I understand there's a lot of people out there that go for high scores and go for 200 mil and the leaderboards matter to them. That's a small amount of the population, and at the end of the day, the thing that's really going to drive RuneScape into the future years is the newer players that come along. That being said, let's take a look at the most useful skills in RuneScape so that we can evaluate how you should spend your time. Firstly, farming with the release of player-owned farms and Ranch Out of Time offers a ton of useful perks for all players. Just to name a few, you can get perks which increase your damage to a Raxor, extend the duration of your barricade, and increasing the overall usefulness of Meteor Strike by giving you more adrenaline on average when you use it. Now please be aware that player-owned farm is a great way to train your farming skill, however it is not affected by double XP. You can actually use the beans you've obtained from player-owned farm to get some insane experience by insta-growing your best fruit tree or golden dragon fruit trees. For those of you unaware how this works, with the beans you can actually purchase insta-growth potions, and you can use these insta-growth potions to grow any patch in the game, and this will be affected by the double XP, and you can get some insane XP rates. And personally, I'm going for completionist cape, so I need 120 farming, so this is probably what I'm going to be doing this weekend. Another great skill for your account is summoning. Training is actually very fast, but for many players, the long part of the grind is actually gaining the correct charms. I know when you're at the end game, you're going to have an insane abundance of charms on your account. Like, I stopped collecting them a very long time ago, and I have over 60,000 crimson and 35,000 blue charms. You're going to want to make sure to use up all of your crimsons and blues to get to as high of a summoning level as possible to unlock some really useful familiars for PVM and skilling alike. Ripper Demons, Steel Titans, Pack Yaks and Nihils are all massive buffs to your account, and if you opt to train this on double XP week, it won't only cost you half as much, it will also use half the amount of charms. Also, do not forget to use your spirit gems to save even more of these charms, allowing you to get even more XP. Summoning is a very fast skill, and you won't need to spend too much of your 48 hours actually getting this up if you do it the correct way, but it's definitely a skill that I'd recommend getting up if you haven't done it already. Another extremely important skill for you to train on double XP is prayer. You want to be getting this to at least level 92, but I'd personally recommend getting it all the way to 95 or 99 to be honest. And this maximizes your survivability and damage output when PVMing or slaying. Unfortunately, you cannot train this in the conventional method of using gilded altars on double XP weekend, but you can actually kill fire watches for some insane fire making, combat, prayer and farming XP, all while making some really nice profits and being completely AFK. So if you haven't got these milestones of 92, 95 and 99 prayer on your account, make sure to utilize double XP week to fast track your way to soul split and some of them juicy damage enhancing prayers. Please be aware it is going to be really hard to find a Firewatch world at the best of times, let alone on double XP, so you are going to have to get there to the spots quick. Now here's one that every single player knows. Herblore is extremely important for any player on RuneScape. You need to unlock them useful potions, but most importantly, adrenaline renewals and your best overloads is why you want to be doing this. Do not train this method using Vuln Bombs or any other method until you have a stockpile of overloads. You'll constantly be using these throughout your grind and they will pay for themselves in the long run. I know a lot of people think that it's very expensive to use overloads, but the efficiency that they increase your PVM and your Slayer alike is insane and it pays it back tenfold. If you're at Supreme Overloads, I'd recommend pushing for Elders. Like, even if you're at regular overloads, get as high as you can with the money that you have. They're a massive DPS increase and pretty much a mandatory for any level of PVM in the game. I know it may be tempting to train Herblore using the faster methods such as Vuln Bombs or even cheaper methods, but please trust me that if you do not have a stock of at least 500 to 1,000 of these, it is not worth your time. Just get stocked up on overloads and make sure you get the best out of this weekend with them. And then finally we have Archaeology. This is a bit of a new one, and there are plenty of great relics to use for all skills across the game. First up, we have Divination. They enable you to deposit all of the memories that you get in one go, which will greatly increase the amount of XP or energies you gain an hour. And also there's a Divination update coming out with a lot of quality of life and cooperative changes to Divination. So getting this Archaeology level to unlock this will be really useful for your account. Next up, we have Runecrafting. If you have Archaeology, you can have relics which make it so that your runecrafting grinds are a lot smoother and faster. You have a relic which enables you to get straight to the middle of the abyss every time, saving you a ton of time on your trips. And alongside this, you can also get the relic which stops your pouches actually degrading. This is extremely useful, and it will save you a lot of time because you won't need to get rune spam points ever again to upkeep your massive pouches. Farm runs they're pretty useful for. There's actually a relic which makes it so that none of your herb patches can ever die. I think this works for mushroom patches too. So if you do a lot of your herb runs, then this probably is actually worth one of your slots. Bear in mind, if you do a lot of PVM as well, you ain't going to want to be swapping them about constantly. I personally have the opinion of, if you get 120 Archaeology, you should be rewarded, and they should make it so that you can exchange relics freely, free of charge, anywhere in the game. I don't see why they ain't rewarding people for getting 120 with something like this, because to be quite frank, Chronos, they ain't the best update they've ever added to the game, let's be honest. Another great one that you can actually use this for is Slayer. Obviously, you have a lot of the PVMing relics that I'm going to get to shortly, but the main one for Slayer is Slayer Introspection. This lets you pick the minimum or maximum amount of Slayer creatures that you are assigned from any task. This can really help improve your power slaying, your slaying for profits, and overall just the experience in general, because you get to do more of the tasks that you enjoy and less of the tasks that you don't. It honestly is a must-have for anyone doing Slayer. It is a very steep requirement though. You do need 118 in order to get this relic. But honestly, it is really worth your time if you're adamant to do Slayer on your account. Archaeology is especially important for anyone who PVMs. PVM relics such as Berserker Fury makes it so that you can have up to a 5.5% damage increase depending on how low your hit points are. This works in a similar way to Darok's armor set. The lower your HP, the higher you hit. This is extremely useful for PVM, and even if you don't camp high HP a lot, it is going to be like at least a 0.5 to 2% DPS increase at some points throughout the fights. Fury of the Small is another great one. This makes it so that every basic ability gains you 9 adren instead of 8. This enables you to do some pretty cool combinations when it comes to your ultimate abilities, as you can use your thresholds even quicker, and you can build to your ultimate abilities even faster. Any free adren is a massive must-have for anyone that's grinding PVM, and this is why Fury of the Small is one of their meta perks. Persistent Rage is another great quality of life one, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, I wouldn't play the game without it. Previously, you used to have to stall using defensive abilities non-stop when you were PVMing. It used to drive me crazy. Like, don't get me wrong, until we had this, it wasn't too big of a problem. We did have adrenaline urns, but that wasted an inventory spot. Persistent Rage makes it so you never have to stall your adrenaline again. It's extremely useful for any activities in the wilderness because you can keep 100% adren. If someone tries to PK you, you can barricade, you can immortality. There's loads of utility that you can get from this relic. It is insane. Like, I'm not going to say it's useful, but it is a massive quality of life relic. And I'll be honest with you, other than the top of the top PVMers that don't mind stalling adren, most players in the game will tell you that this is a must-have perk. Heightened Senses is also another complete game changer. This makes it so that your maximum adren is 110% instead of 100%. Basically, whenever you're using Hydrix bolts, getting impatient procs, using greater ricochet with them Hydrix bolts, this makes it so that you're not wasting adren. Like, any time that you would have hit 100% adren and you got a proc and it would have went further, you gain some extra adren. This also makes it so that you can get some different rotations off occasionally. Like, you're going to have more adren after you use an ultimate ability, so you can build to thresholds even quicker. Not that that changes too much, but it is really nice to have for certain content, and there's a lot of niches where this is actually... One of the main goals when it comes to Archaeology isn't actually getting the relics, it's more so unlocking the maximum relic power possible. You can actually push this up to 650 relic power, and you can actually obtain this by getting to 112 and using a pulse core boost or a Desert Pantheon pulse core boost to get to 120. In order to complete the mystery that unlocks you maximum relic power. While you've got this boost, you may as well get all of the other useful relics. I personally didn't get 118 for the Slayer Introspection. I got 112 and completed the log then. You can lobby and maintain your boost so you never lose it. So I'd recommend, if you're close, get to 112, get your boost to 120, and when you're at 120, just get all of the relics that you're going to be using. These are all of the skills that I'd recommend investing your time into if you haven't already. If I was to go in terms of importance at the moment, I would say Herblore and Archaeology are tied. That's my personal opinion. They're both extremely important. Then I'd go Prayer, then I'd go Summoning, and then finally Farming. All of these skills are useful and worth doing your time. With the Farming, you don't have to do the beam method. You could just do your regular tree runs. You're going to get double XP for doing that, which will save you some time over the course of the 2 weeks. Please remember, at the end of the day, it depends on your goals. Whether you're chasing your favourite 99 or 120, going for max, or just enjoy the boosted rates for a skill you want to do. Be healthy with it and have realistic goals. This is why I feel having 20 days to use all 48 hours of your double XP is a great change. I think it really is good for the integrity of the game. But please do not force yourself to do something you don't enjoy for too long, because if you get all of these upgrades, but you burn out and you don't end up actually using them, what was it worth in the long run? I'm not going to make this video any longer than it needs to be. If you guys would like me to go further in depth with each individual skill for PVM, I could make a video in the future in my PVMing series showing you all of the useful skills that go along with PVMing, but I'm not going to bore you anymore with this video. I just wanted to get this out before double XP started. But yeah, best of luck on your double XP grind. Hopefully a lot of you guys are prepared and this gives you a bit more of a further insight on how to spend your valuable time. We have our From Scratch series and loads of guys coming to the channel, so if you want to jump along for the ride, please make sure you subscribe. We're growing at an insane rate. We're nearly at 2,000 subs already and I cannot thank you guys enough. And happy grinding on double XP. Thank you all for watching.